Good evening, everyone. I'm honored to be here with you tonight virtually to present this year's Silver Medal Award. The Silver Medal Award is the highest honor that AAF Toledo gives out. This Lifetime Achievement Award was established in 1959 to recognize men and women who have made outstanding contributions to advertising and who have been active in furthering the industry standards, creative excellence, and responsibility in areas of social concerns. I'm extremely excited that this year's winner is actually a really good friend of mine. We started working together in the early 90s, and I think you'll get the idea that he meets all the criteria for the award, and then some. On the outside and represented by his work in the business, or if you saw his memorable video at last year's awards show, you might think he's all fun and games. But deep inside, he's one of the most creative and passionately artistic people you'd ever want to meet. He's a one-of-a-kind thinker, and he has the accolades to back it up. Even though his career has been mainly with one company, he has many fortes. As an experienced radio host, producer, copywriter, voiceover artist, on-camera talent, creative director, marketing educator, and much more. I think the thing that stands out the most is his passion for pleasing clients and helping them to achieve their marketing goals. Above all, he's a devoted family man and really a pretty nice guy. So I'm excited and honored to virtually present the 2020-2021 Silver Medal Award to Scott Greggory of MadAveGroup.
Who's this for?
I met Scott at a latex convention.
I met Scott in an opium den. I met Scott in jail.
Scott and I dated for a time in the 1970s, and I called it off when I learned he was in junior high.
I like to think of Scott as competition I never really had to worry about.
I've watched Scott work over the years through a little hole in the wall.
Scott has always been nice enough to mostly do all my free stuff for me.
I have been blessed to have been able to know and work with Scott Greggory.
One thing I really love about him is he can take the most mundane thing and put this really stupid twist on it and make it hilarious to hear or read.
When Binkelman was founded in 1946, we made prosthetic leather nipples. I don't know what they were used for, but they were pretty hot.
He is certainly not afraid to push the envelope. He's pushed us a little bit to really get outside the box.
In an office for a birthday, they hand around a card typically, and folks will sign the card and have their little message on there. Well, it's my first year at MadAveGroup, and that happens. Everybody signs their little message of happy birthday. And I can tell you I remember one message that was on there. It was from Scott Greggory, and it said, "I'm not interested, Scott."
With me once again is Ed Beam, Professor of Steelology at Parker Steel. Hello. Today's letter comes from Jimmy Hoop in Hollertown, and he writes, "Dear Professor Ed Beam, how do I measure the flange on I-beams and channels? I'll hang up and listen for your answer." Professor?
Look, his sense of humor is different. It's a little odd. That's sort of his special sauce. Look, if you don't use any of this, I don't care. I don't need this.
Scott's one of the most creative people that I've ever worked with. And the fun part of it is that he has, we all know, a very twisted sense of humor. I honestly don't know where it comes from.
Do you suffer with nervous skin or ripening bowels? Ashamed of your chronic lumpy bikini area? Maybe you've got horse toe or pirate's knee. Could it be liver stiffness that's keeping you up all night? What's the story on your greasy sex glands? Looks like your elbow fungus is contagious. And yes, it's quite possible you were fired because of your raging case of tramp throat. Whatever's ailing you, we've got a belt, hose, or bearing that can fix it. Unless, of course, you've got stinky chin. Ain't nothing we can do about that.
Scott is phenomenal when it comes to his sense of humor, number one, and number two, how to execute that sense of humor for a client's brand.
Scott has been doing our on-hold messaging for the past 20 years. One of the most fun things that we hear from our customers is put me back on hold.
Scott's work is like a garbage can full of maggots. It really stinks, but you still kind of want to stare at it.
What I found unique with Scott was how he could sell a product, a serious product, through the process of humor. It's just fabulous.
If you're driving and you hear that Toff's Valraven Salty Caramel Fudge Truffle has salty chocolate thick fudge, salty caramel ice cream, and salty caramel truffles, you might bend forward and try to lick your car radio. And then you'll drive into a lake or the back of a dump truck. Hi, you're on the air.
Yeah, I just licked my car radio and drove into a dump truck.
I knew it.
And then a lake.
Toff's is different, and different is good. Visit toffdairy.com.
Scott is a pioneer of on-hold marketing, but that just means he still drives a covered wagon to work.
He developed this idea of comedy and humor and using those elements to entertain somebody that's on a phone. Now, he had somebody's attention for about 20 seconds while they're on hold, sometimes probably calling to complain about something.
Tired of worrying about COVID-19? Then here's good news. There are so many other diseases that can jack you up just as quickly, like African iron overload, Colorado tick fever, Fragile X syndrome, and maple syrup urine disease. Yep, they're all real, and they're all out there just waiting to ruin your day.
He's very particular about the work that gets done. He understands your abilities and your talents and gives you plenty of room to do that. But you always know he's there to make sure that that standard stays high.
It's always the best it can be for a client and that client experience.
You know, in the 30 years that I've been doing this and working with agency and marketing people, he's truly one of the few people that actually gets it. He understands the difference between fantasy and reality in both creative and in content.
But I know in his role as creative director, he has mentored a lot of other writers and creative people. And to me, that's one of the greatest things we can do to give back to the industry.
I think his true genius lies in his mastery of the spoken and the written word.
Scott is the grammar police.
He was always able to perform perfectly exactly as I scripted it. Most of the time exactly as I scripted it, because he would pick apart all the grammar errors incessantly.
He never compromises creativity or quality, ever. Budget and timelines be damned.
He's not a guy that's going to ask, how much did we sell this for? He's a guy that's going to say, here's an idea I have that can make this way bigger.
There's just nobody that looks at things the way he does.
He loves to see that people either laughed at what he wrote or learned about something from what he wrote.
He is just the most memorable person when it comes to creating content. Why make something that people are going to forget in 5 minutes? Let's create something that's going to outlive us. Let's create something that people are going to remember 8 years later that you wrote on a birthday card. That's Scott Greggory.
As a prominent silversmith, engraver, and, American hero, I need to spend time on my business, not my business phone system. With hosted voice from Revere, there's no on-site system to install or fuss with. That saves me time and stress. It integrates with laptops and mobile devices. And the features are so easy to use, even the British can figure them out. Thank you. I'm here all week.
Scott's a big fan of bluegrass music, which is why he smells like a banjo.
He's passionate about so many different things. His bluegrass.
When I first found out that he was into bluegrass, I thought that was like another Scott prank. Like, are you kidding me? That's what you're into? He doesn't think of himself as this great talent, which he is.
I think it's the combination of amazing talent and, from what I can see, zero ego.
So just watching his expressions when people give him praise is you can just see that he's humble by the way he accepts it, or doesn't accept it, I should say.
He doesn't present these false ideas that will never work, that will never resonate with the consumer. And it's really, really refreshing to work with somebody that has a sense of what's really going on in the marketplace.
We've worked on projects together and collaborated. We've had so many different experiences, and most important to me is a friendship.
Scott is just enjoyable to be around. He carries his humor all the time. Every time we have a conversation, he is just a master at it.
The Silver Medal Award is really created to honor those who have made outstanding contributions to the profession and to the community. And Scott certainly has achieved all of those things.
He's intelligent. I think he's well-spoken, thoughtful.
It's very well deserved. I'm very proud to be able to call you my buddy. And I love working with you, and hopefully we'll be able to work together for a long time. Congratulations, big time, Scott.
Congratulations, buddy.
Scott would have made a terrific garbage man.
And he can make a toothpick last for a week. Thank you, AAF Toledo, and everyone who nominated and chose me to receive the Silver Medal Award. You'll understand, of course, if I suggest that you conduct an extensive audit of your selection process. But before that happens, I'd like to thank my mom and dad for their roles in this whole mess. One of the things they taught me is that success means nothing without humility, and I've always tried to carry that lesson with me. They also hollered at me to stop annoying my sister, so I didn't listen to everything they said. I'd also like to thank my wife, Amy, and our kids, Crosby, Lila, and Ella. They are reliable sources of humor for me and trusted sounding boards. They have no problem not laughing at my work when they don't find it funny. I'm grateful for their honesty and support. But really, would it kill you to chuckle once in a while? Amy is also a great voiceover talent who can be heard on many of the Humor on Hold productions we created Business Voice. I guess that's how she justifies not washing my socks. I wouldn't be receiving the Silver Medal Award if not for Jerry Brown, who for the better part of 3 decades has looked the other way while I try to pass off my nonsense onto our clients. Jerry is a visionary leader, a generous spirit, and he wanted me to mention, a sensitive lover. Ugh. Thank you to everyone else at MadAveGroup too. I'm proud of the work you do and the level of client care you provide every day. You all make me glad that I didn't become an astronaut. I'd like to mention a few of my influences as well, the comedians, writers, and advertising creatives who excited me early on. Let's Get Small. The first album from Steve Martin was life-changing for me. I have it memorized to this day. In the early years of SNL, my favorites were the lounge-singing Bill Murray and fast-talking commercial pitchman Dan Aykroyd. I've stolen a lot of their moves over the years. Then I saw the weirdo characters of Marty Short on SCTV. He's a talent who still puts me on the floor. I worship the Desert Dry comedy team of Bob and Ray, and the brilliant Stan Freberg, whose daring comedic approach threw a wrench into advertising in the 1960s and 70s and gave all of us who followed permission to think differently about the whole thing. And then there was David Letterman, a writer and comedian who changed not only late-night TV, but comedy itself. While in college, I sent a packet of material to Dave, hoping to land a job as a staff writer. It was wisely ignored. But I've always identified with how Dave poked fun at convention, and that's the angle from which I still approach a lot of my work today. Thank you to Mark Ryder, Valerie Likens, Bob Siebold, Stan Massey, Ed Hunter, Terry Lesnowitz, Chris Mitzos, Rebecca Conrad, and again Jerry Brown for speaking on my behalf. If you check your mail in the next few days, I think you'll find some very nice car wash coupons. Just my way of saying thanks. I'd like to leave you with 3 words. The first is opportunity. It's a word I love, a word I use a lot around our shop. Even in the darkest of situations, there are opportunities to create hope, awareness, and humor. I'm always encouraging our writers and now all of you to actively look for those opportunities to make your work and your world better. The second word is inspiration. It can be easy to find yourself in a rut or feeling deflated by certain circumstances, but especially as people with the power to create and share messages, we owe it to our coworkers, our audiences, and our communities to inspire, to encourage and shine a light on what's good and affirming and beautiful. Inspiring others should be our highest aspiration, not only as content creators, but as human beings. And the third word is potatoes. Baked, fried, mashed, I love them all. And I'm hoping to flash this Silver Medal Award and parlay it into free potato side dishes at area restaurants for many years to come. During his introduction, Mark referred to the Silver Medal Award as a Lifetime Achievement Award, and I realized that I had never really thought of it that way. So then, I guess this is the part where I say, I'm tremendously thankful for and humbled by this honor. And then, crawl off to die.